Aki, a talented high school soccer player, scores a goal that makes his team win. They all run to hug him to celebrate, but he steers clear of them, not wanting to get dirty. Meanwhile, a girl is watching the game from her home while hugging her cat plushie, commenting that Aki is really a clean freak. In Fujimi High School, Aki is a celebrity. He's a handsome and famous midfielder, but he has an obsession with cleanliness around him. As he cleans his desk, his teammate Zen comes and gets him for practice, saying it has already started. On the school field, Aki takes his time lathering his hand with soap as the schoolgirls flock around him. This enrages Zen and urges the boy to join the practice immediately. After the game, Miwa, their coach, hands Zen a bottle of water, mentioning that Aki is an extreme germaphobe and that, as his senior, he should be patient with him. As a consideration, he gives Aki his bottle of water, but the boy just washed it before using it, which annoyed the senior even more. As the practice resumes, he becomes competitive against his teammate, who coolly plays, much to his further annoyance. He chastises his team for spoiling him, which fires back at him when one of his teammates points out that he's more spoiled, as he is the son of a business mogul. However, he retaliates that being rich has nothing to do with being good at playing soccer. As he tries to scold Aki for not taking soccer seriously, Miwa grabs him and throws him on the ground, showing everyone that she's a judo aficionado. Alone, Zen rants about how Aki avoids any contact play when he sees a girl picking the lock on their club room. The girl quickly scrabbles away after seeing him. Just then, Miwa appears, showing Zen Aki cleaning the soccer balls after their practice. Despite being a germaphobe, the boy has devoted himself to playing soccer, even though he hates getting dirty, pointing out that he really cares for soccer. The next day, Takechi, a boy who was picked along with Aki for Japan's under-16s, came to Fujimi to scout the boy for playing for their school. He ignores Zen, who is about to greet him, and criticizes Aki for choosing a school that crashes out in the preliminary rounds every year, saying that he's wasting his talent. Aki tells him that there's something special about Fujimi High School. Wanting to prove it, the two schools perform a friend match, and suddenly Takechi shows his abs to prove his point. Aki starts playing seriously, getting past the players, and scoring a goal. Meanwhile, the girl earlier is watching the match, impressed by Aki's talent. Meanwhile, Miwa analyzes the boy's play, noting that his fear of germs helps him become a good player, as he precisely avoids being touched, making him easily reach the goal. As Fujimi's score is ahead, Takechi is determined to single out Aki, making his team members guard him with 4 players. Zen runs to score a goal, but his kick is bad. As it starts to pour, Takechi's team is ahead of the game. He points out to Aki that he's too good to stay at Fujimi High, convincing him to join their school instead. As there are only 10 minutes left, Miwa calls for Zen, noting that there's something off about Aki's play. As their coach suspects that the boy is injured, Zen asks Aki only to discover that he's afraid to get muddied, making him disappointed with his teammate. In the game's last 5 minutes, Takechi attempts to score a goal, but Zen blocks the ball using his face. Although he's not as talented as Aki, he is always determined to win. He tosses the ball towards the goal, but misses. Just then, Aki, overcoming his fear, comes to the rescue and kicks the ball into the goal, making himself soak in the puddle of mud. Zen questions his move, knowing that he can't stand getting dirty. Aki points out that since it's the last 5 minutes, he can handle it, as he hates losing more than anything. This makes Zen smile, admitting that he actually likes the boy's drive to win. As they score the goal, the team celebrates winning the match against Oshigami High. Zen attempts to hug Aki, only to be ignored. As he is about to get annoyed, Aki gives him a thumbs up for the header he made. Meanwhile, while showing his abs, Takechi is thinking about transferring to Fujimi, wondering what's so special about it. In the club room, Aki is cleaning the toilet with a built-in bidet, thankful that he chose the school with that kind of toilet. Aki's fan, Mocha, has already met Aki during grade school. She remembers that he was the kind of boy that would catch your attention even from afar. Ignoring the danger, she watches him even from outside the classroom's window, enamored by his taciturn yet determined spirit. However, she will never forget that one time in 5th grade, when she had a conversation with Aki. At present, she wonders if the boy even remembers that moment. During soccer practice, Zen shoos the groupies cheering for Aki, and orders the boy to clean the balls and kick them instead of handling them. One of the balls strikes Zen in the face, making him mad. Inside the locker room, One of the members, Jin, tells everyone that lately, someone is checking him out, which makes the boys incredulous. Meanwhile, Aki is nonchalant as ever, and is only interested in cleaning their locker. The next day, during the team's practice match, Mocha expertly sneaks inside the soccer team's locker room. After the match, the team praises Aki for making the locker squeaky clean. Zen sees his clothes neatly folded, asking Aki if he has to go that far. The boy denies doing it, saying that he has to die first before touching someone's clothes. The soccer club captain, Gaku, tells them to check their belongings since someone might have sneaked into their locker room. As Aki is about to clean his locker, he spots a cat plushie near his uniform. The next day, they find their locker room squeaky clean again, despite it being locked. Gaku tells his members that they should just think of it as the work of a fairy. Throughout the week, the same thing happens, and when Aki opens his locker, a large cat plushie is inside. The following day, Mocha skillfully opens the locker room and heads inside with her cleaning supplies. She thinks back to the time when she had her first conversation with Aki. The boy struggled to touch a cat because of his germaphobia, despite liking it. Seeing him sad over it, Mocha gave him a cat plushie. He decided to accept it on the condition that it should be washed first. At present, Mocha slips in another plushie inside Aki's locker, determined to cheer him up on the sidelines as he's out of her league. As she closes the locker, Aki is already standing by the door, looking at her. She panics at the sight of him, trying to hide her face, as he might think that she's a creep. However, instead of chastising her, Aki gives her additional cleaning supplies and shows her the cat plushie she made, commenting that its weird face hasn't changed. He greets her, saying it has been a while since they saw each other. Mocha gets teary-eyed at the fact that he remembers her. Just then, Zen, along with the team, scolds the boy for sneaking in a girl and skipping practice. They all discovered that Mocha is the cleaning fairy. Embarrassed by the trouble she has caused them, she quickly apologizes, saying that she wants to help and to be useful, omitting that it is all for Aki. The team is touched to hear this, especially from a cute girl, and begs their captain to do something. In a pickle, Gaku recruits Mocha as their manager, so she can officially help them with whatever they need. As Mocha hands out their water bottles during practice, the boys comment on Aki's popularity, as his groupies are still cheering for him even without classes. After the practice, curious, Jin smells Aki's towel, much to everyone's shock, calling him a pervert. This caused the other members to do the same, sneakily smelling Aki's towel during the game. In their locker, the boys talk about how it smelled better than they imagined, making Zen chastise them for being weird freaks. Meanwhile, Mocha overhears this and decides to protect Aki and his towels against his team members. The next day, Mocha wields a baseball bat with nails, protecting Aki's towels, thus ending the towel shenanigans. However, the rumors about how good Aki's towel smells spread in school like wildfire, causing his groupies to increase in number. As Aki wipes his sweat using his towel, his fans go frenzy and start attacking for his towel. The boy ducks around through the onslaught, making sure that no one touches him. Zen has had enough and voices his frustration, saying that they're serious about soccer. He scares the groupies away, much to everyone's relief. Later, as he is alone in the locker room, he recalls how everyone goes crazy over Aki's towel. He looks at the boy's towel, laughing at how foolish people can be. However, a gush of wind blows through the room, making the towel fall to the floor. He catches it on time and starts feeling intrigued by the towel's smell. Another gush of wind blows and the smell finally enters his nose, remembering a nostalgic memory about his mommy. As he buries his face into the towel, Aki enters the locker room and catches him in the act, calling him a pervert. The boy tells him to discard the towel after using it, which further annoys him. In his house, the butler asks Zen about washing the towel, but he instructs him to leave it be. The next day, Mocha tells herself to work harder as a manager. She is greeted by Aki, but she reminds herself to put her personal feelings aside. Jin arrives with others, bragging that Mocha has a thing for him. However, when the girl runs past them, they see her wearing an Aki fan shirt, revealing her secret. While riding the subway, Jin, along with other team members Sakai and Taichi, talk about how Aki avoids taking trains to stay away from people. They comment that he will have a hard time making it to their match against Takada Academy tomorrow. As they talk, they see Aki riding his bike to school. Meanwhile, a girl overhears them talking, hatching a plan to make Aki miss the game with a sinister smile on her face. After school, They all convince Aki to eat with them in a restaurant. The boy refuses, but it starts raining, so eventually he goes with them. As they head for the drink bar, Aki starts cleaning the glasses, much to Zen's annoyance. Meanwhile, the girl from the train secretly observes them. As they're about to cheer for tomorrow's match, Takeshi appears from the next table, mocking the team for being worthless without Aki. He then greets the boy, flexing his abs for the clean freak. He further points out how incompetent the team is, commenting that they can't win against Takada team without Aki. The team starts eating, and Zen notices that Aki is still cleaning the table. As his order arrives, Takeshi gets the plate of food, saying that they know nothing about the boy. He points out that Aki only eats at home because of the nutritious meals he prepares. However, the boy's stomach rumbles, hinting that it's his germaphobia that is preventing him from eating. Taichi volunteers to eat Aki's food, but Takeshi has already finished it, much to his annoyance. To show that he is a much faster eater, he orders Takeshi another plate of steak to see who will win. They dig in at the same time, both refusing to get defeated. They continue the speed eating while the rainstorm outside isn't ceasing. Meanwhile, Tachibana, Takeshi's companion, convinces him to stop the nonsense game. However, Takeshi refuses to lose to the same opponent twice. As the last dish is served, Takeshi powers through and eats with all his might, wanting to show Aki that he's better than anyone in his team in every aspect. As he eats every grain of rice to his limit, he reminisces about the time he first encountered Aki in middle school during the Tokyo tryouts training match. Recollecting the precise pass Aki delivered to him that led to a goal, he yearns to relive that moment once more. As he takes the last bite, Aki gives him the last item on the menu, the mega-sized strawberry parfait. Takeshi sees this as Aki's killer pass, but he passes out before he can even take a bite, making Taichi win. As the rain stops pouring, Aki immediately heads home. Meanwhile, the girl, who is called Kana, observes the retreating boy. The next day, the team is warming up for the match, but Zen notes that Aki is not around. Gaku tells him to calm down, as their teammate was just there moments ago. However, seeing his members nonchalant about their upcoming match infuriates him further. Meanwhile, Aki is washing his hands when he bumps into Kana, who's washing her water bottle. Out of impulse, he then starts cleaning it for her, saying that the bottle is still dirty. With a scheming smile on her face, she asks the boy to help her with cleaning. She leads him to a room with cleaning supplies, mentioning that she is stuck with cleaning the soccer team's club room because the captain is her boyfriend. She tells him that her boyfriend keeps saying that today's opponent is a real threat, revealing it to be Aki. She then locks the room, saying he won't get out until the match is over. Back in the match, everyone is looking forward to seeing Aki, but he hasn't made an appearance yet. Meanwhile, on the sidelines, Miwa instructs Mocha to find Aki. The coach watches the game, noting that their opponent doesn't have any players that stand out, but they resort to foul play to win. Back in the locker, Kona removes her plot armor, threatening Aki that she'll scream if he tries to escape. Suddenly, the boy collapsed, stressing out over the fact that he was locked inside a dirty room. Kana questions his choice of playing soccer, even though he is a germaphobe. As they talk, the Takada team scores another goal, making them 2 goals ahead of the Fujimi. Kana tells the boy that she'll lock him up for another 30 minutes. As they talk about Kana's boyfriend being the mastermind of the abduction, Mocha enters the room after picking up the lock, holding her bat. She urges Aki to escape to finish the game. However, the boy looks at the pile of dirty clothes inside the room. With only 15 minutes left, Aki enters the field with a brush in his hand. He tells Zen that he's going to pass the ball to him. As the game resumes, Aki immediately gets the ball and scores a goal. Determined to win, the captain devises a plan to surround Aki to stop him from making a goal. However, this proves futile, as the boy easily evades their advances and passes the ball to Zen, who scores, making them tied with the opposing team. However, Aki is purposefully pushed to the ground, making Zen angry. He checks on the boy, who is clearly affected after rolling into the dirt. As Aki can't move anymore, his members decide to protect him and defend the goal. With less than 5 minutes to go, Aki powers through and defends the ball against their opponents. Freeing himself from the shackles of germaphobia, he kicks the ball towards the goal, making their team win the match. He tells the captain that he hates getting dirty, but hates cheating even more. As they celebrate their victory, the team tries to hug Aki again, but, like countless times, gets turned down. while the Takada team is surprised to see their locker room squeaky clean. Witnessing his coolness, Kana becomes a fan of Aki, much to her boyfriend's frustration. The Fujimi student, Shion, is playing the multiplayer game, Monstrosity Hunter. As he explains how he is a clean freak similar to Aki, he is battling a monster together with his online friends, who he explains are his only friends because of the stress of being dirty in real life. As the team celebrates their victory, he states that he needs to keep his clean freak nature a secret. The next morning, Shion arrives at class while it's still empty, and he vigorously scrubs the chairs and tables. He stops as he hears Aki coming, and he pretends like he has been sitting at his desk all along. Now that the other clean freak has come in, it is his turn to clean the room, all while Shion contemplates how the early morning is the only moment of the day he can relax. Later, we will know exactly what he means, as his classmates are proven to be messy slobs, with one in particular even spilling milk on Shion's desk. The young man offers to clean the table, but it only annoys him more since the classmate uses his sleeves to do it. Despite this, Shion only puts on a smile. Later on, in home economics, the students are tasked with cooking miso soup with rolled omelets. While most of the class are scrambling, Shion is already an expert at cutting vegetables. However, he is usurped by Aki's even more impressive cutting skills. Not wanting to be undone, Shion cuts even more vegetables until he finishes dish after dish. The classmate, Yuka, offers to help, but he tells her to leave everything to him since he secretly can't eat if he himself doesn't make it. Yuka tastes his cooking instead, agitating the clean freak as the girl puts her lips on the ladle. Meanwhile, Aki is also done with his dish, which everyone agrees smells great. Some students get to taste it, sending them into heaven. It's not long until the entire class is in a riot for a taste. Elsewhere, Sakai, Jin, and Taichi can smell the food from their class. Their entire class exits mid-lesson just to go to the homeroom, but their hopes are dashed as they see that all the miso soup is already gone. Shion offers them his freshly cooked fried rice instead, so everyone digs in. The glasses clean freak is so proud of himself, not realizing that Aki has just made chicken rice. Taichi wants to try it out, but Aki tells him to wait since he hasn't added the egg topping yet. The moment the class realizes it's an omelet rice dish, they all go crazy for it. The frustrated Shion wants to make another dish, but sees that he doesn't have enough ingredients. Luckily, many female students bring in loads of ingredients from the dining hall. As Shion makes a delicious dish, Aki counters with another. As this goes on, Shion remembers his childhood, when his father could not understand why the young boy wouldn't eat anything from the table. That young boy back then felt trapped, not being able to explain that he could only eat things he cooked himself. He looks at Aki, thinking he must have the same problem as him. With school hours over, only Shion and Aki are in the homeroom, and the man with the glasses is intrigued to see Aki's cup of coffee. Seeing how the boy made a happy animal face on top of the coffee makes the glasses man think that Aki cooks not only because he is a clean freak, but because he enjoys it. On a different day, Shion is playing Monstrosity Hunter when one of his guildmates tells him someone wants to join their team. He looks at the new guy and is shocked to see that the player's avatar looks too much like Aki. However, unlike the soccer player, San introduces himself as an energetic guy who likes to socialize. Suddenly, a monster attacks the team, and San kicks an iron ball to defeat it, reminding Shion of Aki again. San high-fives his teammates for the victory, making the Shion reconsider. At school, Aki is busy scrubbing the schoolyard, and Shion observes him from afar. As our hero leaves, Shion sees that he has a Monstrosity Hunter official hunter keyring on his backpack. He looks at his own hunter key with his game name, Smart, engraved on it. Later, Shion returns to his game, talking with his guildmates in their group room. Everyone praises San since they have never lost since he joined them. The girl member admits her crush on the new member, embarrassing San so much that he runs away. Later in real life, Shion looks at his hunter key intently as he thinks of ways to look closely at Aki to find out if he is San. Yuka asks if she can borrow his notes, but the man secretly doesn't want her to touch them. He offers for the girl to take pictures of his notes instead, but the girl's phone is low on battery. She insists on just borrowing it. Left with no choice, Shion exits the classroom and goes back with copies of the notes he made from the teacher's office. This satisfies Yuka, who goes back to her desk. However, as she goes to her locker, she realizes her PE clothes are missing. Since no one has a chance to steal it in a crowded classroom, and Yuka put it in her locker last night, Everyone starts to suspect Xian stole it in the morning. The boys suggest that he show them the contents of his bag. One classmate grabs onto Xian, making the boy panic and shout at him to let go. This only makes him look even guiltier, and he is chased down by the boys. They all pin him down, making him struggle to even keep his face off the floor. Suddenly, Aki appears, holding the bag of Yuki's clothes. A guy from another classroom says he found it in his locker. It is now that Yuki realizes that he placed it in the wrong classroom. As Xian gets up, Aki offers him tissue wipes, and he advises the young man to let people get to know him better. While Xian understands that our hero knows his secret, he replies that he doesn't know what he is talking about. The entire class apologizes for accusing him, and he tells them it's okay. As Xian contemplates his insistence that no one can know his clean freak nature, Yuka hugs him for being a good egg, making the young man uncomfortable. While this is going on, Aki puts his backpack on. As Xian takes a peek at the hunter key, he confirms that the soccer player is indeed San. Later, while in the game, Xian looks for San as he thinks about how Aki must use the game to be more like himself, without the problem of being a control freak. He visits San's video game room, and he is surprised at how messy it is. In the middle of practice, Aki scores a goal, getting the fan club Team Aki to go crazy. However, to everyone's surprise, their captain Gaku is one of them cheering. Seeing the atmosphere, Jin performs his signature butt keepy uppy. His comedy antics continue as teammates pass the ball to him, and he bounces it back with his butt, and he bounced the ball toward a walking Aki, but the soccer ace dodges it at the last minute. This makes Team Aki go into cheering mode, including the captain. Zen is confused about what the captain is doing, so Sakai and Taichi explain that Gaku's girlfriend, Yuri, is part of Team Aki, and so he chooses to support his girl. The Fujimi soccer team goes to Minamita Fuzoku High School, with Team Aki cheering and walking with the team. As they settle in the field, Jin does his signature butt keepy uppy. Someone throws a ball, hitting his face. It turns out to be Minamita soccer captain Ryu, whose very presence makes the glasses-wearing comedian nervous. The game between the two high school teams starts, and Aki successfully shoots a goal. The media photographers covering the game are impressed with the lad's raw talent, but one cynic believes he should have ended up on a stronger team so that there is no possibility that his career can end by simply losing at the preliminaries. Despite the goal, Minamita is not discouraged. With Ryu running with the ball, he faces Jin, and due to his nervousness, the captain passes him by with ease, leading to a score. Sakai tells Jin to pull it together, yet Ryu passes him by with ease a second time. As he languishes in his failure, Ryu nears him and tells him he hasn't changed since the old days. By halftime break, the enemy team takes the lead with 2 points. Jin is sitting in the toilet with his head low and hitting the wall. He looks at the tissue roll and rolls it all out of frustration. Minamita Fuzoku soccer members enter the bathroom and talk about Jin, not knowing he is just behind a stall. They talk about how they heard he and their captain used to be on the same team in middle school, and that the glasses-wearing comedian used to get bullied by Ryu. As they go out of the bathroom with a mischievous grin, they see that Sakai and Taichi overhear their conversation. Back at the toilet, Jin thinks it's time to go out in the field. He exits his stall, only to be surprised that Aki exits the stall next to his at the same time. Later in the game, Jin is surprised that Coach Miwa did not sub him out. Miwa remembers that both Sakai and Taichi requested that Jin stay in the game. Since the two are usually goofing around, she cannot reject their request the only time she sees them being serious. As predicted, Ryu goes near the glasses-wearing fellow, knowing he will not put up a fight. As this former bully is in front of him, Jin remembers when he was in middle school, doing the keepy-uppy in front of his laughing teammates. Ryu hit him on the head and told the young glasses-wearing boy to never do it again. Ever since that day, whenever he tried to draw people's attention to himself, Ryu would hit him with a ball, and he could no longer move when in front of him. In the present, he still cannot move until the soccer captain passes through him again. However, Sakai sees this coming and blocks the ball. He tells Jin he can be more aggressive and encourages him to be the team good vibes officer again. Later, Ryu moves past Jin again, only for Taichi to block the team captain's goal-scoring attempt. He and Taichi talk to their friend and tell him he's turning into a boar. His words awaken something in Jin, who remembers when he first joined the high school soccer team and was still a depressed man due to his middle school experience. Taichi and Sakai accidentally toss the ball towards him, and he instinctively catches it with his butt. The entire team laughs. Since then, the three have become inseparable. Back in the present, remembering this gives Jin his fighting spirit back, even stealing the ball away from Ryu as he tries to pass him by. The ball goes to Aki, and the enemy players surround him. Jin runs quickly, remembering that Aki told him in the bathroom that he would pass to him in the second half. The ace player does so, but the glasses-wearing man doesn't know how to kick it in his position. Aki looks at him and knows he can win the game if he makes his spirit-lifting signature move. Jin accidentally uses his butt to score a successful goal. The man laughs at his score, saying he meant to do it, and the entire team hugs him and pins him down. The game ends with an easy victory for Fujimi. The cynical media member tells a colleague that while Fujimi won, Aki performed terribly in the game. The college thinks that Aki might have intentionally put the spotlight on his teammate to restore his confidence. The cynic thinks that if he did, it was an idiotic move that would have ended his career. Despite this, Aki's eyes say he has no regrets. In the black and white panels of the manga, I'm Going to Save the World, the hero, Suguro, stops the bad guy and saves the girl. The manga editor reading it loves it with no bias, and he tells the mangaka, Ozaki, that he is amazing. Despite this, the artist has no excitement in his eyes. I'm Going to Save the World is such a hit that Jin is a fanboy over it. Being the manga artist in secret, Ozaki approaches the glasses-wearing fanboy and asks if what he's reading is fun. Jin confirms how fun it is and brags about knowing it. As Ozaki walks away, the glasses-wearing fan wonders why he talked to him, knowing he's usually a loner. As Ozaki walks the halls, two girls blush as he passes by. The man looks intently at a wall like it's important to him, and it only makes the girls want him more. Meanwhile, the math teacher, Katahira, takes away Jin's manga and rips it apart, leaving Jin crying. After school hours, Katahira is walking towards her car, in a bad mood since she just heard that her friend stole her boyfriend. She looks at her car and gets annoyed seeing cat footprints all over it. Mocha passes by with a bowl of food that he puts on the ground. Cats come out of the bushes, and they all dig in. Katahira takes a picture of her and the cats and tells her that she will call the pound. Mocha pleads with her not to do it, but the teacher can't be persuaded. The teacher is calling from her phone, and Mocha is thinking of ways so her kittens won't get taken away. Ozaki passes by to see that Mocha is about to hit her with her bat. Ozaki takes the teacher's phone away and throws it away. He then picks up the cats and tells them they are his. Katahira demands that he pay for her phone, but Ozaki counters that she also needs to pay for Jin's manga since she robbed him of something dear to him. This makes the teacher realize that she is no different from her friend who stole her boyfriend. As she drops to the ground from her realization, Ozaki returns her phone. As his editor picks him up from school, they bring along the cats in the car. The next day, Jin is reading the latest chapter about Suguro saving a village of cats. Ozaki walks the halls and sees that Mocha is cleaning the floors. He looks at her shirt that says Aki for life and thinks that our hero is making her clean it. Ozaki goes to the rooftop and he gets confused seeing Yuri feed Gaku a lunchbox with Aki-themed food. Later at soccer practice, our hero is being praised by his fan club. They throw towels at him, and he dodges all of them. This only makes the girls love him more, confusing the manga artist. As the girls keep cheering, Ozaki gets annoyed since Aki won't even wave back at them. At his home, the manga artist imagines Aki as an evil, charismatic figure. He draws with this in mind and makes a chapter where Suguro and his small dog sidekick, Darbobble, come across zombified citizens being controlled by the gentleman villain, the Blue Wizard. Jin and his friends read the new chapter, and to Ozaki's surprise, they love him. At the manga studio, the editor informs his mangaka that Blue Wizard is an instant hit. Ozaki doesn't understand this, since the wizard is a selfish man who controls people. At home, the artist makes him even more evil by making a chapter of the wizard sending a group of his female admirers to their deaths. The next day, the editor informs him that the Blue Wizard's popularity is through the roof, annoying the artist. While going home from school, Ozaki follows Aki from behind. An old man passing by cannot get his excited dog under control as it greets Aki, making the clean freak do everything to dodge. This gives the boy an idea. He makes a chapter where the Blue Wizard runs cowardly away from Darbobble, revealing his fear of dogs. The next day, the editor reveals they are making a batch of Blue Wizard merchandise because the character's popularity skyrocketed after he ran away from a dog. This only makes the boy want to take the character down even more. He makes a chapter where the wizard defeats the hero with overwhelming force, destroying a huge chunk of town in the process. The result is that the blue wizard ended up being #1 in the popularity poll, dwarfing the two heroes in votes. As Jin and his friends praise the wizard more as they read, Ozaki's anger makes him plan to make the villain even more evil, to the point of destroying the planet. However, the editor rejects the idea. Instead, he makes the wizard a playboy, who has many women around his arms. The editor gives the mangaka the bad news that the wizard's popularity is free-falling since the revelation that he's a playboy. Instead of being sad, Ozaki becomes ecstatic. This disappoints his editor, who reminds him that manga is not a game, but a business he can't allow to fail. The next day, Ozaki is deep in thought about what his editor said. Determined to regain the wizard's popularity, he starts his work. He makes a chapter where the wizard teams up with the protagonist to take down a bigger villain. He goes to school expecting people to love it. However, Jin and his friends hate it. He goes back to work, making a chapter where the wizard becomes so weakened from the fight that he turns into a small version of himself. At school, he places himself near female manga readers and waits for them to react to how cute the wizard has become. Instead, the girls cry in fear since they think the wizard is about to die. The frustrated artist tries again and again to recapture the magic. However, no matter what he does, the readers keep hating his new chapters. He is becoming so stressed that he is becoming pale. He decides to go to Aki, thinking he might observe his opinion on the manga. He catches him reading the latest manga magazine. As Aki turns the page to the latest, "I'm going to save the world," he skips it. The irritated mangaka asks him why. Our hero tells him that he doesn't like "I'm going to save the world" since the art is bad, making Ozaki red with anger. He makes a chapter where the blue wizard betrays the protagonist, revealing he is never an ally to begin with. The fans at school love this twist so much that they cheer and scream together in class, much to Ozaki's continued annoyance. Kirishima shoots a basketball confidently, and Aki appears behind him, asking for a ball. Intrigued, he passes him the ball, but the clean freak dodges as usual, saying he forgot to put his gloves on. Just then, Mio, a popular starter on the girls' basketball team, takes the ball. Everyone stares in awe at her beauty, but her shot just bounces off the rim as usual. Now protected from the dirt, the young man shoots endlessly, and people are stunned by how none of his balls miss. The girl tells Kirishima to be careful, as he wouldn't want his spot on the basketball team to be stolen. She then approaches the unexpected ace and asks why he's so good, despite being a soccer player. Hearing that he relies on intuition, she acknowledges that he's much better than her and decides to call him master. As she hops away, the male basketball team crowds Aki and argues that he shouldn't take Mio from them. They then gush about how she's the girl of their dreams, mentioning her overall personality and enchanting smile. As they cheer for her, the clean freak ignores them all and mops the floor. The teacher scolds them all, and they're forced to return to gym class. The women's match begins as well, and the opposing team makes snide remarks about the popular girl, much of which are brushed off. To their surprise, Mio easily passes through the defense. She's a starter on the main team after all. That said, she can't score enough to save her life, even if she stays after school to practice shooting. Meanwhile, her two opponents aren't even on the basketball team, but are considerably skilled. In reality, they're just too busy working part-time to join the team. They dominate the game, and they laugh at Mio for dragging her team down. She jumps to rebound a ball, but falls to the floor. There, she thinks about her coach, and how he said that her position on the team is at risk, because she doesn't know how to shoot. Aki appears before her, and she asks her master for advice. They stared intently for a long time, expecting something big, but he simply told her to get a feel for it. While it isn't particularly helpful, she gets back to the game to test it out. She pushes in, but everyone expects her to miss as usual. To their surprise, she jumps at the rim to dunk the ball in. Even more surprising is that it just hits the rim and bounces off to her master, who kicks it in. The boys cheer, but the point obviously isn't counted. Meanwhile, Aki is ruling his own match, all while avoiding any and all contact with others. The crowd goes wild as Mio slam dunks. She runs to her master and thanks him, absent-mindedly patting his shoulder. Silence passes, and they scold her for touching him, but the germaphobe seems oddly unbothered, prompting questions about their relationship. The next morning, rumors had already spread about the pairing. With this, all his admirers are heartbroken, and Mocha binge eats out of insecurity. Everyone cheers loudly as the hot couple run into each other in the corridor. However, Aki ignores her, instead asking a girl named Ariga to shake his hand. She bashfully accepts, but the physical contact makes him collapse. Later, he runs into Mio again. As she proudly shares her scoring stats, he asks her something unexpected. Against all expectations, he's found arm wrestling against her, with a gloved hand gripping the desk. Others wonder what's so special about her, and why skinship with her is okay with him. As the match was getting heated, the girl's button popped out, revealing her chest and ending the game. While having lunch on the rooftop, Mocha longingly stares at her crush as he observes a couple eating together. Later, he unexpectedly gives Mio a lunchbox and asks that she give him one tomorrow. This further fuels their dating rumors. In the principal's office on the next day, she brings him lunch as promised. Everyone watches in anticipation, knowing he doesn't eat anything made by others. As he raises an omelet to his mouth, the boys' basketball team barges in and eats the food themselves. Not protesting, Aki then invites the girl to watch their upcoming game, a request she quickly accepts. While playing their online game, Shion pressures his character into talking about his romantic life. He argues, stating that even he can't explain his feelings, and runs off to fight beasts. At the game, his cheering squad is particularly gloomy. The star player dominates as usual, but suddenly runs off to Mio and raises his hand for a high five. Everyone is shocked and delighted when she says that they aren't dating. With this, everyone's spirits are back up. Mocha thinks about how he must have wanted to do all those things, like cheering together, arm wrestling and eating other people's food, but only felt comfortable with Mio. The fact that he was dying to do a high five is something she finds incredibly cute. A judo athlete named Umeya throws his opponent down. After praising his skill as a freshman, his senior launches a surprise attack, but he's thrown down once more. The coach watches him in satisfaction. Despite knowing how rocky the path can be, he plans to entrust the school's judo team to his hands, believing in his perseverance. Surprisingly, he joins the soccer team, grateful for their guidance, as he's never played before. Suddenly, the judo coach runs to the field, burning with rage and demanding to know why he's quitting the team. He aggressively asks if it was his teaching style, but he knows that someone like him wouldn't be bothered by that. Just then, the student walks away and rushes over to help Mocha carry heavy baskets. With this, the coach realizes the reason he left and charges at him while fuming with anger. However, even the big man is thrown down as the newcomer reaffirms his decision. Unfortunately, the girl he's pining for decides to accept Aki's help instead. The next day, the members feel sorry for him, already well aware of his crush and her intense love for someone else. Noticing her gaze, Umeya challenges the star player to a one-on-one. Everyone knows that it isn't a good idea, but his coach appears again and says that his student won't back down for any reason. Surprisingly, the newbie keeps up with him, making a close tackle. However, the results are as expected. Pushing through his tension with Miwa, the coach shouts at the young man, telling him to return to the dojo. Not caring, his eyes are set on Mocha, looking particularly determined. Later on, he approaches her, and his intense aura makes her grab her bat. Fortunately, he only offers to help her out. The others see this and talk about how fruitless his efforts will be. Mocha listens from the outside, and they're surprised to see Miwa exiting the boys' stall with cleaning materials. In the following days, Umeya is relentless and continues to help her. One day, she handed him rubber gloves, thanking him and worrying about his hands. They finish cleaning, but Aki arrives and cleans the area again. While hiding in the corner, Umeya asks Mocha where her love stems from. She can't give a clear answer and says that she just realized it one day. Empathizing, as it's how he felt about her, he confronts the germaphobe and says that the manager has already cleaned the spot. However, he can't be satisfied unless he does it himself. The newcomer faces his crush once more and declares that he'll make her dream come true. Later on, he hands Aki a poster about a cat festival happening that weekend and invites him to come with Mocha and himself. Seeing his interest, he gives the girl a sign that things are going well. Meanwhile, the nosy classmates watch them secretly. Just then, Jin deduces that he must be setting her up for rejection and readying himself to offer her a shoulder to cry on. They fume at the thought of his dirty ploy. Although impressed, they refuse to let it happen. The day of the festival comes. The pair, along with the usual stalkers, wait at the zoo entrance. As Mocha's heart throbs at the thought of a date with Aki, the young man finally arrives, excitedly playing with cat toys. As he enjoys the various animals there, the two stare at the person they pine for. A monkey throws bananas at them. While the clean freak dodges, Umeya blocks it from hitting Mocha. He then encourages her to talk to Aki and pushes past her nervousness to speak her mind. As the others notice him trying to make her confess, the time for the cat festival comes. Cats fill the hall, resting and bonding with the visitors. Coincidentally, Mio is also there with a friend, Yu, and she runs over excitedly, asking her master if he's also a cat lover. However, the memory of their high five makes her blush, and she backs away to act cool. Seeing her, the team manager can't help but feel jealous. They group together, and now two people have their eyes set on the soccer team's ace. Mocha is mesmerized by how attractive the girl is, and how she can even touch the germaphobe. Just then, they run into a couple of thugs. Umeya gives her a chance to protect her crush, but Mio pushes the men into the woods, giving them an opening to run. With this, the insecurities grow stronger. Meanwhile, Yu notices how the judo athlete is looking at the manager. He points over to the lake boats, saying they should ride them before going home. Mio excitedly drags her friend along with her. Meanwhile, the judo coach watches them underwater. Aki and Mocha share a boat, and Umeya stops the tall girl from interrupting them. Yu blatantly says that he must like her, and asks why he's trying so hard to set them up. On the boat, she thinks about how she hasn't said anything at all, and how he must want to spend time with someone else. Just then, Umeya shouts from their boat and asks how the day was for her. Understanding that he's encouraging her to confess, she steals her resolve and tells Aki that she had a lot of fun with him. With this, Umeya proves that his feelings are genuine, and that he simply wants to protect her no matter what happens. He watches over them, with the sunset softly shining on his shoulders. To him, not all couples are destined to marry, and he simply has to be patient until the time comes. Miwa pleads with Makio, insisting that the inter-high isn't a pipe dream for them anymore. Understanding how she feels, the man, who's a TV program character, says what they need right now is a training camp for the team. Surrounded by his merchandise, the coach screams in agreement. The next day, the members react positively to the news, saying they never had a reason to go before. Zen offers their summer villa as the venue, and the others begin to ask about bringing other people with them. Suddenly, Aki says he won't go. Not understanding, they talk about the fun things that'll happen, like sleeping in piles and bathing together, all of which are disgusting to the germaphobe. At home, Zen's father returns and says he heard about their training camp. Knowing that his son has no talent for the sport, he unexpectedly calls to change the rules of the game, wanting to support the boy's dreams. Karin, his younger sister, says their father is coddling him and offers to help in whatever way she can. Just then, Miwa appears, saying she's asked his sister for help. On the day of the camp, the parking lot is filled with students and buses, as the entire school has been invited to join as well. As Aki is missing, the others doubt that he'd ride a bus, or even come at all. To everyone's surprise, the germaphobe exits a bus, now shining from cleanliness. Fighter jets fly over them, and write that Zen forgot something. A parcel drops, and inside is a pair of new soccer cleats. As they wonder what made their ace player decide to come, Mocha's head bursts at the thought of spending the night with him. They were expecting something fancy, but are still stunned, as they're brought to a fancy beachfront hotel. As Aki is led to a solo room with a potent air purifier, they finally understand why he joined. Seeing his room, they expect something equally fancy, but are led to a traditional old Japanese home, as Zen wanted to feel the reality of a training camp by sleeping in piles. The athletes warm up at the beach, planning to train their legs and core on the unstable sand. Just then, Mio arrives with other girls, including Yuripe, Gaku's girlfriend. Proceeding, they split into teams and stood on a makeshift soccer field. Facing off against the ace, Umeya encourages his team to do their best. Meanwhile, Aki, wearing diving gear, loiters by the water. The match goes on, and the germaphobe is scolded for not doing anything at all. Karen assures him that the beach was purified with an antibacterial coating, but he argues that everyone has been stepping on it. Suddenly, Gaku twists his ankle during the match, but sees that Yuripe is too busy cheering to notice him. Knowing that she always practices after training, Miwa asks if Mocha wants to join the game as a substitute. While Zen planned to go easy, it's unneeded, as she passes him with complicated techniques. Everyone is shocked, and even more so when she falls on her own. Aki finally plays, and the two face off. She dribbles around him, but he slides to pass the ball. As she falls on the sand, he discourages her against dirty plays, then walks off after praising her dribbling. Miwa is charmed, as he acts almost exactly like Makio. As Mocha thinks about how her foot touched his, she's filled with gratitude for the camp. Later on, the coach tells them to swim to the rock in the sea, and they all rush to follow as Mio jumps into the water. They keep swimming, but the target doesn't get closer. As Zen speeds past them, they hit a wall. Karen explains that they're actually inside a specially made dome, tailor-made to support the needs of their training camp. Moreover, to help her brother train his terrible footing, they prepared another contraption. Waves begin to rise, and Zen is left swimming at the crest of a huge wave. Realizing the misunderstanding, Mocha tells her that terrible footing is another term for being bad at soccer. After that, they had to go through various drills, pushing them all to the limit. Fortunately, Karen and her assistants enter with plates of food. To everyone's shock, all they see is a pea on each plate. The young lady says that it's all the required nutrients, condensed into a single bite. As they're all left hungry, a delicious aroma wafts in, and they rejoice as they see Aki cooking. With everyone full, they move on to recreational activities, a test of courage. A machine is brought out to generate pairings. The clean freak is paired up with Zen, and he mops the haunted house while exploring, leaving a trail of cleanliness behind him. Mio happily pokes around the props and effects. Mocha is jealous of her bravery, but her fears quickly vanish as she hits the mummies around Aki with her bat. Posing as scary nurses, a group of girls tries to use the situation to hug the soccer team's ace. However, he evades as usual, leaving Zen to catch the hugs. While the girls push forward fearlessly, the boys crawl around, barely remaining conscious. The corporate son runs out and sees his sister by the opening. However, he screams in terror as she turns, and he sees a man. Meanwhile, Aki exits as well, and behind him is the haunted hospital, now sparkling clean. With recreational activities done, they're free to play, rest, clean, and do whatever they want. Practice ends, and Aki is oddly the first to leave. Earlier, a woman named Kozu appeared in the field and acted like she was close to their star player. The other players don't know who she is, as their teammate never talks about himself. As such, they're sure that he has more secrets than they know. As nosy as ever, they follow him home, promising to leave when they reach his home. They imagine weird scenarios of what his house might look like, describing him as a rich creep who faws over his sister, all of which match Zen's life. Upon reaching the crowded shopping district, they push past the tight space and emerge to see Aki looking at them from afar. He jumps off with his bike and glares at them before leaving, as if sending a warning against following him further. The nosy group follows him, undeterred by the rough path. They lose him eventually, but spot him after stopping by a convenience store. The food bags in his hand are excessive for one person. Following him again, they arrive at a mundane home, not like they expected. Forcing themselves into the house, they burst in and see Ibuki, a player who joined the youth team of a renowned club. Continuing to eat, he says that it's his house, adding that Aki is there cooking for him, as he lost in a one-on-one. With all of them now eating heartily, doubts about their ace's loss appear. The star player says they've been waging meals for a while now, and that he's been filling up on the young man's cooking as a result. When everyone is passed out from eating so much, the two head out for another match. The next day, Zen and Mocha are surprised to see Aki attempting to skip training. The pair follow him in a car, wondering where he's going. Not long after, they arrive at Oshigami Minami High, where Takichi goes to school. As an argument begins, Ibuki appears. For some reason, he'll be playing with the school for now. According to him, he returned to Japan because he missed the food so much. He bickers with Kozu, prompting Mocha to question their relationship. As he's joyfully handing out soba sticks for others to try, Aki tosses him a ball and challenges him to a one-on-one match. The childhood friend says it's a normal occurrence, adding that they got close after coming together for the national team. Takechi says he was there too, and refuses to stop the match, hoping to somehow recruit Aki by the end of it. If that happens, the three of them would dominate the front line, and winning the national championships of summer and winter won't be a far-fetched dream. While he gets ahead of himself, the germaphobe's teammates find it doubtful that their ace would lose a duel. They bet on food as usual and begin to play. The first round ends quickly as Ibuki steals the ball and shoots. He mockingly wonders what to eat while dribbling around his opponent. However, Aki suddenly stops the match. Despite the domination, Kozu says that her friend is having an off day and that his opponent noticed as well. Annoyed, Takechi visualizes a diagram to show their skills and how Ibuki eclipses the young man in every way. At his home, Aki cooks again according to their bet and asks if something is wrong. He avoids the question, but makes it very obvious that Kozu is the reason. After being caught dumping mayonnaise on the meal she cooked, he called her a terrible cook and essentially got dumped. He argues that she's just mad, and he denies that he was dumped. While he can see everything in soccer, he's ignorant when it comes to girls. He essentially begs for Aki's help, who then tells him to call her out for a date. The next day, Kozu is dressed up, questioning why she's trying so hard. Ibuki arrives, but does so in a full-on cat onesie, following his friend's advice. While browsing through nutrition books in the store, her date returns, now dressed normally, and apologizes for mocking her food. In reality, she seasons lightly because she considers his health when calculating nutrition values. Drowning those in mayonnaise defeats the purpose. He hands her a present, and she trembles in anger to see an introductory book to cooking. As she's getting angrier by the minute, they move on to the next phase. On the field, he invites her to play a match, reasoning that it's the best way to bring them together. Annoyed by his cluelessness and obsession with soccer, she steals the ball and dribbles past him. She wants him to think of the reason, why she'd go to Spain with him, make him lightly seasoned food, and attend the same skills as him. Of course, it's because she loves him, and the way he loves soccer. Despite doing her best to support him, he could never see her effort. Since they both feel better, Aki intercepts, and the two take over the match. She knows he won't change but accepts it. Ibuki wins again, and his stomach roars in hunger. Kozu gives him a lunchbox, warning him of the light seasoning. To her surprise, he devours it heartily. Moved, she apologizes for getting mad, but it doesn't last long, as he says that everything tastes good when one is hungry. She walks away, furious. The star player is popular as usual, but for some reason, people cheer loudly for Sakai as well, surprising even the player himself. Confused, they wonder if it's because of his haircut. In the locker room, they realize that he's pretending to be cool after copying Aki's hairstyle. As he's trying to get into the handsome group of the team, his usual equals refuse to allow it and tackle him at once. However, he jumps and scores past them, acting even haughtier when he leaves. The next day, Jin and Taichi fume as he receives a confession, along with a basket of pastries. They rush to him and steal the food, but other girls approach with their own offerings. Hating how much he's changed, the two plot to draw his true colors out. Jin plays on Sakai's favorite jokes and kips the ball up with his bottom like before, encouraging him to join in. Controlling himself, he puts on a charming smile and jovially calls them silly. The ball falls, and the fan club gushes over how smooth he is. The popular boy is called out by several girls, and they all confess their love for him, asking him to pick them over the others. As they're about to accept how their friend has changed, he rejects them all, and they get a glimmer of hope. However, he simply says that he can't belong to one person and is everyone's property. The two are left in the dust again. Later, Sakai sinks even deeper as he recites terrible poetry in front of everyone. That said, he's gotten much better at soccer, a development Zen readily welcomes. Excited, he says they can reach the nationals, but the defender admits that he doesn't care about such things and only wants to score. As such, he blatantly asks for his position as a forward. Miwa overhears and agrees with the proposition, and the cool boy says he can hear the god of soccer's voice, telling him to score as much as possible. Distracted, Zen makes a mistake on the field, but Sakai acts immediately and shoots the ball in. Desiring attention, he's turned into a ball poacher, but proves that he's actually skilled. With this, his goal of stealing the forward position comes closer, and Zen is moments away from losing his spot. Desperate, he looks for Aki's pass. It comes, but Sakai poaches it and kicks the ball in, earning their ace's praise. He thinks about the nationals and how he'll be benched at this rate. Refusing to let it happen, he marks his own teammate, clashing against him to get the ball. However, the nationals come, But it's Sakai who scores and grabs the press's attention. A buffer comes, and Zen is given a chance to warm up. At home, his father notes that he wasn't a stater today. Wanting to save their name, he's told to return to the starting lineup by the next match, or else he quit the sport completely. Desperate, he rushes to Mocha and begs her to teach him. All other options are useless, and he remembers how she played against Aki during the camp. Although she doubts her abilities, she agrees to do her best, as it's her job as the manager. While practicing, the coach and captain talk about his weak shooting and how he must overcome it. The field is surrounded by his father's support in the form of lights for night training. Calling him out for relying too much on headers, Mocha tells him to shoot balls in with his foot and aim for a 50% hit rate. He gets 20 in the end, and she questions why he's terrible. He heads out, recalling the words of wisdom his father taught him. She stops him, saying that those are what's holding him back. He stays behind until late at night, but his skill doesn't improve at all. His father sees this and says that there's no shortcut for success. Mocha beams with hope, but it dissipates as he says that it's different for them, as they can use money to get what they want. She hits them both, realizing that she's been approaching things incorrectly. Her coaching is merciless, not allowing any breaks. After a long while of exhaustion and hunger, he finally gets a 50% hit rate. Sakai gloats during practice as usual and tries out a new hairstyle. With this, the god of soccer leaves his side, realizing that he isn't Aki. His skills immediately disappear, and his old group goads him into returning to them. Refusing to let it happen, he lets his hair back down and pretends to be the germaphobe again, wanting to retrieve his lost god. While trying to act cool, Jin pulls his pants down in front of the girls, but he remains calm. He approaches Mocha, Aki's supreme admirer, and asks how he can imitate him. Just then, his old group appears and plays percussions behind him. Before he realized it, his bottom had begun shaking to the beat. Insulted, the manager points her bat at him. While he's helplessly running around the field, Zen has become a consistent scorer. Unable to stop himself, Sakai finally returns to his old group and assumes his role as a stooge. With everything back to normal, Zen regains his position as the team's spiker. The team looks on as men return to talk to Aki. Considering his skills and age, it's only natural that they'd try to scout him. There's no guarantee that they'll be together in the end. Considering how he picked their school because of the toilets, he'll have no reason to stay if he signs with a pro youth club. On the way home, Zen blatantly asks for his plans, expressing how much the team relies on him. While talking, a few young boys ran to them, recognizing Aki and asking for his autograph. Seeing this, his teammate stops himself from holding him back and says he should play where he wants to. His family goes to his mother's grave, and he thinks about inviting her to his match. They head to the field, promising to win that day. There, scouts are on the lookout once more, and Mocha asks if their ace is really going to leave. However, Zen can't read his thoughts, just like his mother. He takes a photo of her out, and his teammates gush over her beauty. Miwa calls them over to review their pre-match strategy. They whisper about his reaction, and Sakai shares that he saw them in the morning, paying respects at the cemetery. The coach tells them to listen. As their opponents have an iron defense, she says that it'll be up to their striker, Zen, to shine and plow his way through. Distracted, he doesn't answer at first. Before the game began, he went to the bathroom. Jin and the others took this opportunity to talk about the situation and decide how to support him. Gaku leads the cheer as the captain, and they all scream with determination. A ball is passed to the striker, and he jumps up to head it in. However, the opposing team's center backs stop him, saying he has no chance against them. Moreover, they have an anti-Aki strategy, blocking him in from all directions. Zen is puched back once more, and the ball is free for a shot from the center. It hits the net quickly, and Kureishi High has taken the lead. As they're against a dominant team, even scoring would be difficult. The two defenders want to widen the gap and remind themselves to be careful of Aki in the second half. Zen sees a mother watching and recalls how his own was always obsessed with something, refusing to see others during her fad and neglecting her children. One day, he ran to invite her to his game, but she was already gone. He thinks about the game ending and how Aki will also be gone then. As a parting gift to both of them, he vows to win. The game resumes, and he tries to push forward. However, the defending pair locks him in, and they eventually get the ball and score. Everyone is surprised, as they see their germaphobe go full throttle so early in the game. Seeing him surrounded, Zen calls for a pass, but he refuses to give it, saying it'd be a waste with his state. With his mind preoccupied, he continues to make mistakes. The biggest threat to the opponent is Aki's explosiveness in the last 5 minutes, so they must widen the gap before that. They clash for a header, but their sheer height and build dominate Zen. Fortunately, their ace sacrificed his body and jumped in to stop the ball from crossing the post. With his clothes dirty, he tells their striker to substitute himself if he has no plans of winning. Annoyed by the memories from his words, he bashes his head into the post, refusing to leave. The other team focuses on the germaphobe, who's become sluggish due to the dirt on him. Still furious over Aki's words, Zen forces a free ball against the center. However, Kureishi Hai takes the ball and rushes to counter. The striker blocks the ball with his face and has finally overcome what was bothering him. He tells Aki that it's his job to get dirty, and the two set out to take the game. Unfortunately, Fujimi's players are left panting, as the opponents plan to drain their stamina. With their ace underperforming, their potential is locked back. With less than 10 minutes left, they have to score, but the fatigue is getting to them. That said, compared to when he was moping, Zen is playing much better. He manages to win a header and give his team a counterplay. Hikaru passes wide, but Aki is running at full force, as there are only 5 minutes left. Since he's marked hard, he passes it to Zen, but his legs give away. He hears the cheers of his teammates, as well as his mother's. With his newfound strength, he drives the ball in. Using his goal as a turning point, they win 3-2. The others see his mother and recognize her from the picture. They fume with anger, realizing who she is and that she's still alive and well. They demand that he return the energy they spent worrying, but they all smile as the beautiful mother speaks. In reality, she was gone for 5 years, as she was busy volunteering to help the underprivileged. She returned to watch him score a goal, remembering his invitation, and promised to score for her. They hug, and everyone cries. Suddenly, a helicopter comes to fetch her, and she leaves for Brazil, disappearing just as abruptly as she appeared. The next day, they see Aki speaking to scouts, and finally ask about his plans. However, he has no such plans. The men did their best to convince him, arguing that a jewel that can carry Japan on his shoulders should not be stuck in such a place. That said, he stayed, because he liked their white uniforms. Although they burst at the ridiculous reasoning, the team remains whole.